The go live button. All right, here we go. Welcome to Films in Black and White, everybody. Welcome to Films in Black and White, everybody.
Skip it a bit down.
I let you do it, and it's because otherwise it competes with our sound. How's everybody feeling? Hope everyone is doing wonderful on this Labor Day Monday.
Yes.
Hope if you were given time off, you enjoyed your time off, and if not, thanks for being at work. We appreciate it. I know that's
We
weird,
appreciate
right?
your labor.
We appreciate your labor, which sounds weird.
This is a weird holiday. I had to actually look it up to see what it was about.
Oh, it gets intense a little bit.
I don't think that I've ever looked up what Labor Day was about. But
I know that I haven't. Let's go
Here we
there.
are.
I know that I haven't. Gentlemen, we have a wonderful episode. We're talking Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yes, we are.
And we brought in a guest. However, our guest is an accomplished man and has places to be and people to see and things to do. And so we only have him for a short while, which is totally fine and we're happy with. So we're just going to get right to it. We are going to dive right into Shang-Chi right now.
Get right to it.
So I'm going to read his little bio. So Dave Wheeler is our guest this week, and Dave Wheeler is a jack of all trades when it comes to comics and design, working as an inker, colorist, letterer, writer, and book designer in comics. Along with the comics industry, he has worked in the advertising and graphics industry for 12 years, now having the opportunity to transform brands with innovative graphic solutions and campaigns. Dave currently resides in Minneapolis, Minnesota with his family. He is proud to be one of the co-founders of the kid-friendly comic company MindWave Comics, doing his part to bring back fun to comics. When he's not in the studio, he enjoys long walks on the beach and making toys and professional wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big Films in Black and White welcome to Dave Wheeler. Dave.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that scroll. That's beautiful.
We're a little fancy.
You know, we really spare no expense. We're like Jurassic Park. We really try to spare no expense.
Oh, no, that's the wrong thing. I'm hitting the wrong buttons now. All right, there we go.
But Dave, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. How you been?
I'm good. So this guest appearance goes back into my middle school days.
Oh, wow.
When Dave and I were friends. So we brought it all the way back.
We're still friends. We just moved across the country from one another.
Yeah, exactly. There was a hot second where I lived in Kentucky, and then everything was just weird from there. So, but this is really like a weird vibe for me because below me on the stream is both past and present. Brian is also a little bit of past and present.
Hello.
Marcus is sort of like future and present friendship. So like I got a whole goddamn thing going today.
This podcast will now be called Doug and Friends.
Doug,
yes.
I mean,
yes.
I hope not.
Actually, this is a Christmas Carol, Doug. You are asleep and you need to atone for your sins. So good luck. We wish you the best.
Son of a bitch. All right. What's the message I'm supposed to take away from this one?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
don't
need
know
a
what
badass bathrobe if I'm going to be the ghost.
I don't know which one I am.
Who am I? Am I deaf? Because he's black.
That is not where I was going. No, you were described as present. So
I just want to know my role.
I don't think anybody is deaf. I think this is 3 different messages with this one.
Okay.
So we're just gonna go that route.
Well, I'll just throw stuff at him at different intervals.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we have a movie to get into. So the 4 of us saw Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings this weekend, or maybe even Thursday. But
maybe
it's Labor Day, so we're just gonna rope it in and call it the weekend.
Let's do it.
Brian, let's do it. And in order to get into it, Dave has a wide range of comic book knowledge and experience, so he's going to share some of that with us. But before we get into the movie, I really would love it if Marcus J. Destin would give us his barbershop summary for this movie. Marcus, break it down for us.
So basically, here's what happened. You got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, except with bangles. Okay, so what had happened was you get this new hero who got got hands like right off the rip. Nobody just said anything. He just started fighting. Like he just started like throwing blows right off the rip. You got this guy who he really don't know what he's content in his life. It's not like he want to be a bum or a failure. He's really just living this low key life. He dropping off fancy cars and stuff like that. And while everybody else around him trying to figure out who they are, guess who knows who they are? It's this guy who just know how to fight, and he just be hopping in stuff. And he got his friend Katie, and Katie's trying to figure out what she want to do in her life. While this guy knows who he is, but he running from his past. Okay, his dad is this big bad. All right, this dad is who. This movie is basically about Disney atoning for their sins, okay? Because they went and they did Iron Man 3 and did some terrible shit in Iron Man 3, and now they had to come back and was like, hey, that's our bad. We messed that up. So then they come back and they fix everything so that you meet the real quote unquote Mandarin, right? And so he's Sean is his name, but Shang Chi is his real name. Is his that's his real name anyway. So they go through this whole movie, and his dad is this big bad who has lived for thousands and thousands of years because of these 10 bangles that he got, right? These 10 rings on his arm. They're not like rings, but they're like on rings on his arm. So if you know the Mandarin from back then in Iron Man, you know it don't look like that. It looked like something more modern. So basically the dad misses his wife, misses family. He trying to go, this is another villain who, you know, I mean, they ain't really a villain. They just really just miss their people. So he try to go through the gate. He hear his wife calling him saying, help me. But nobody else hear this except him. So he's either crazy or loco. So everybody else is like, yo, you can't do that. You can't burn down the village. And they like, no, we got to stop your dad. But he's like, man, my dad is kind of crazy and I miss my mom. And he's like, yo, you got to get over it. Then you got to fight. And now you got to become an Avenger with your 10 bangles. So it's kind of,
I mean, you know what?
Jesus.
That's a pretty good rundown. Like,
yeah. I gotta catch my breath, but yeah.
That's a fast version.
I was trying to keep it brief.
I like it.
Well, you did it. Mission accomplished.
Thank you.
And again, you just needed to do that to come back and show us that Brian and Doug should not touch the barbershop summary at all. Okay. Like imitations are fine, but we're the equate brand of barbershop summary to your name brand of barbershop summary.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah, well, good. Before we get into the movie after that, we just wanted to give everybody an update on box office. Not that it's a measure of success, but it is relevant to our discussion. $71.4 million in the US over the weekend.
Biggest over Labor Day.
Which is not bad, which is really, really great. I also heard that it broke records in the UK for post-pandemic box office premiere as well. So had a great weekend. Again, still kind of the future of cinemas is sort of up in the air, but had a good weekend, and we're glad to hear it.
Can I chime in? Because
please,
this came out very recently. They moved up Venom because of this. So Venom's coming out beginning of October now. So you can thank Shang-Chi for Venom, apparently.
Yeah, it's a fourth move. Yep,
fourth move on release date. It's like, come on, just release it now.
Unreal.
I mean, Dave, you know this from being in the marketing world. Like, it's not cheap to keep redoing posters for 1 month and date.
No, not in the least. And the funny thing is, like, one of the things I do locally here with the chain of theaters called the Imagine Theaters is I do Marvel premieres. So I'm at the Marvel premieres. I do an exclusive piece of artwork, collaborating with one of the local artists and myself. We sell prints and hang out, do sketches, and like, you know, the guy who coordinates all that is just like, hey, so here's the dates. And then we get an email. Here's the dates.
Here's the dates.
Here's the dates. Like, you can tell each one he gets a little bit more angry about, because he prints all the flyers and shit for here's everything. That's nuts. Then he's like, oh, guess I got to change that again.
Yeah.
So now what do you do with all the old posters? Because now I'm like, okay, well,
I don't put dates on my posters. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah. And this is why they pay them the big bucks, folks.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Those are collector's items. Those are like those are like toys that they realized they didn't have the right beard on, and in 20 years they're gonna be worth a lot.
What was the Star Wars one? It wasn't Return of the Jedi, it was a different name. I can't
Revenge of the Jedi, yeah.
Revenge of the Jedi. There we go.
Yes.
Brian.
Yeah. So
it's quick.
It's
Mr. 3000, everybody.
Revenge is not the Jedi way, so you probably shouldn't have that poster.
Yeah. They're the good guys,
right? Right.
we're here to save you and kill everyone.
And kill everybody else.
Because Anakin, yeah, for sure.
Because we got beef. Gentlemen, let's get into the movie. First, right off the jump, first impressions. And Dave, why don't you kick us off? What were your sort of first impressions and just initial thoughts about this?
So I'm a big Shang Chi fan. I actually thought that I was wearing the shirt, and I'm wearing my MODOK shirt. That's my bad.
It's okay.
It was a very long night last night. But being a classic Shang Chi fan, I still enjoyed the crap out of this movie because they did a lot of modernizing. They did a lot of kind of adjustments to fit it into the MCU, which I was all for because Lord knows we didn't need a character named Fu Manchu running around on the freaking screen. I'm just putting it out there. There was a lot of these characters from Shang-Chi were actually initially licensed from a old pulp novelist. So like a lot of these guys got brought in and were technically being leased by Marvel when it first kind of came around. So like the funny thing is, a lot of these characters where you're like, wow, that's racist. Marvel's like, they weren't ours. We were just borrowing them. The House of Moses is like, huh?
That's incredible.
But I really enjoyed it. They did a beautiful job of incorporating in a lot of fantastic martial arts work with their fight choreography. Working with, and now I just completely blanked on his name. He was actually a member of the Jackie Chan stunt crew, and he was the fight choreographer. He passed away before the movie hit the theaters, but that was absolutely gorgeous. The implementation of using Mandarin in there was great. Actually, fun fact, Doug and I took Chinese back in middle school.
I don't remember a lick of it, but we did.
Yeah, I can still. The cool thing was I was really stoked because I understood a lot of it. And I was blown away by that because I'm like, okay, did they dumb this down or am I actually recalling things? But it was really, really well done though. I mean, spoil. Are we going?
Yeah,
spoil it. We're going to spoil this movie. Yes.
Yeah. So big flipping dragon fight scene with basically Cthulhu light was badass.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the shit out of that. I enjoyed the iconography of a lot of the traditional kind of beings of Chinese lore and culture being implemented on the screen. The guardian dog / lions, like the 9-tailed fox, all that type of stuff, and the phoenixes and such. Like all that being implemented was absolutely beautiful. And the thing that I kind of loved about it was moving forward. It puts forth a very another step towards a more inclusive MCU, which is really cool to see the diversity growing from like, wow, that's a lot of white people to like, here you go. Like, no, like it's not, all, European,
that's right.
heroes.
That's really cool.
So it's amazing, to see again, another step, moving towards much more well-represented Marvel universe, which is cool.
For sure. Absolutely. Marcus and Brian, things that you all enjoyed about this particular movie?
Marcus, take it away.
Different or the same or whatever?
I think one of the things that I really enjoyed about this, so my mom loves kung fu movies. Westerns and kung fu movies are her thing. What the one thing that stands out for me the most is this movie can be just a good kung fu movie. If you enjoy that genre, and like Dave was saying, the actual martial arts mixed into it. There was a scene on the bus, and I didn't say it out. I'll just have a transparent moment. I didn't say it out loud because I felt bad. But there was a scene on the bus when Shang-Chi is fighting, and the style that he's using, I was like, man, this guy looks like Jackie Chan while he's fighting. But it is actually like, I watched a video where they were saying like, the style of him using his environment was like, that was Jackie Chan's thing. Like that was his go-to. And so it was Jackie Chan-esque. And they had a lot of like people who worked with Bruce Lee back when Bruce Lee was out. And like, there was all these connections, and then changing the rings into arm weights and armbands, which is an actual thing, not just a Marvel. Like that was, I think if you wanted to watch this could be just a good kung fu movie. Like you don't really need the MCU connection at all.
Right.
Like I think that they just did really well. Even Doug mentioned after the movie, like you can tell they did a lot of like like Hidden Dragon, like the fighting, like the fighting scene specifically between he met his mom, and I need to remember his dad's name, but the
Wenwu.
Thank you, Wenwu, and met his mom for the first time, met Shang-Chi's mom for the first time. That was so beautiful and elegant.
Oh my
and
gosh.
It wasn't a lot of dialogue in the fight scenes. It was literally just them flowing back and forth. Yes. And so I think that was the first thing that I liked and enjoyed was I could rewatch this alone just for the fighting choreography.
Can I throw something out there too?
Absolutely.
Like the thing that like you had mentioned, Marcus, like one of the things that I think Marvel's done really, really well is they've found where they can make genre movies that fit their shared universe. Like if you look at Captain America Winter Soldier, that's a really good spy thriller.
Yes.
Like, you look at you look at Spider-Man Far From Home, even that's a really good team drama with Spider-Man in it.
Yep.
This was, like you said, a really good martial arts film.
Yeah,
for sure.
Great point.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, that was one of the things I enjoyed, Brian.
I agree with everything that's been said, and I think one of the things that is to its strength is that it really leaned into, I feel like, a lot of the Chinese mythology. And I feel like for the past 10 years, we've had so much like Nordic mythology thrown at us, even to like some of the like mythical items that are being tossed around here, whether it's right? Like we got 2 Thor hammers at one point, right? And I just really enjoyed, because when I grew up, like there were other like mythical stories that like I would learn and stuff like that. And dragons were like a big part of it. And like in Western culture, it's like dragons are bad. Like that's who the knight fights. And then you're like, you read these other stories where the mythology is originating, not, in Europe. And it's like, no, actually, like dragons are really good and they're friendly and they help us and they're not scary. They're just kind of like, I don't know, kind of like big flying cats, kind of a little bit. I don't know. This is how I would describe them.
That's a good way to put it. That's a great way to put it.
And they're exactly. That's the finale, by the way, everybody. Like what Dave just did. I'm kidding. And I enjoyed how they brought that to the forefront, because that's the entire finale of like, no, dragons aren't bad. Like we need this particular dragon to help us. Otherwise, everything is lost. And I just enjoyed that, because I feel like it flips the script on a lot of things that we as Western audiences see. And I enjoy, like, it was just really powerful seeing Xiling and Shang-Chi like ride the dragon too. It was like, okay, that's a moment. Like that's that is pretty cool, both symbolically and also like visually. You can tell they had a ton of care like working on this. So I enjoyed that aspect of it, of taking a lot of that mythos, and then what you all said, like putting this into a Marvel shared universe, it totally fits. Like it absolutely fits next to Asgard and other mythical type places we have seen, whether they are mythical or real or in another timeline or not. So I really enjoyed that. What about you, Doug?
Here's how I felt about it, and I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what Brian was saying a little bit. What I appreciated about this is that it's clear that they put the same level of care in displaying this lost kingdom that they did into doing Wakanda. You can tell that they invested a lot of time, energy, and effort to make sure it felt authentic when someone walked through there, and I thought that was a really cool and intentional choice. I said this to Marcus in the theater. I really appreciated the fact that they didn't like make these people speak English. Like, I do sincerely appreciate that they said, like, nope, they're in China. They're going to speak Chinese. Like, they're going to speak, I believe, Cantonese. When I was doing some reading was what they said was the dialect.
Mandarin and Cantonese.
Mandarin and Cantonese. Okay. And I just appreciated that they took that investment, and even like reading a little bit into the background, some of the characters are from different parts of Asia. And so if you really are a true Chinese speaker, you can pick up the dialect and the accent in there. And these are people who committed to learning that, even though they knew they were going to do it with a little bit of an accent. Like, I just appreciated that level of intention with it. Like, that shows that they were really trying to show some care. I also really appreciate, and I'm curious what y'all's thoughts were on the sort of the will they won't they of Awkwafina and Shang-Chi's character. Like, maybe they're gonna get together, maybe they're not, maybe they're gonna get together, maybe they're not, because there was a part of me that did not want that to happen at all.
Doug was squirming the whole time. It was not a part.
Was so upset.
Doug was squirming in his seat the entire time.
I didn't like it. So this is gonna feel like I was saying I didn't like it.
Let Dave jump in.
Go ahead, Dave.
Say, I actually enjoyed that they weren't just like they're lovers. Like,
yes.
I kind of like that they didn't. Like, they were just like they're really, really good friends. And something could happen, but it's not necessarily going to happen here.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, one just kind of bit of comic knowledge. That's why I'm here. So Talo was actually what was considered one of the god realms in the comics. So it was kind of on par with Asgard. It was on par.
Sure.
Yeah.
So in the comics, that's how it was more so based.
That's really cool.
Originally. So it was, if you went to Asgard, well, here you go. You have your Nordic, now you have your more Asian based god realm.
Sure.
And so that was pretty cool, the way that, again, they implemented it in and made it feel very ethereal.
Sure.
When you think about it, I mean, yes, it was CG, but at the same time, when you're looking at it, it feels very otherworldly.
For sure.
Like, just because of how, not simple, but how clean it was.
For sure.
Yes.
And whatnot of it was very natural.
100%.
Also, apparently, one of the set dressers worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, which I thought was kind of dorky but funny.
That's really funny.
That person is royalty.
Well,
because I'm a big Turtles dork, one of my friends is like, "Did you know this?" I'm like, "Do you have proof?"
Yeah. Where's your number one?
How did you catch
That's
that?
really
Like,
crazy.
Wow. Well, I think one of the other things that I liked, well, two things. The cinematographer for this movie shot on The Matrix. So a lot of the fight scenes look like
that makes sense.
It resembles a lot, especially more specifically when they first introduce T'Challa, and then like the first fight sequence between Morpheus and Neo when he's training in the dojo. Like, it's shot by the same cinematographer. So it's like, that's what's really dope about it. The other thing I really liked about this movie, y'all, it got right to it.
Yeah.
It didn't waste a lot of time. It didn't over explain why Sean already knew how to fight. It didn't go through a training montage with him. Like, it was told
didn't need to
in the span of his story. And I think that's what I enjoyed partially the most, because like they just hop right to it. Like, and the other thing is, when they got there, they knew, like, nothing surprised them about seeing these animals and seeing these majestic and beautiful like creatures.
Right.
Like, there was nothing surprising about that. Nobody was like, "Oh my God!" Like,
so one thing that I was worried about with this movie was Awkwafina, because I feel like a lot of her roles are like the really hyper enthusiastic best friend, which is like, I feel like what I do a lot of the time. And so I was like, oh man, like they're in this like mythical realm. Please don't do like a pan shot to her. And she's like, whoa, did you see X? And they didn't. They didn't. To their credit, this movie had some restraint with Awkwafina's character. So credit to Destin Daniel Cretton, who is the director of this movie. You did that just right, because it was just like, let them be in awe of the nine-tailed fox and Morris, whatever creature he was. Just like letting it all be taken in and not trying to get it as a laugh, because like Awkwafina's character was the audience surrogate, right?
Yes,
and like she was kind of our eyes and having those reactions of like, you can do what? Like, okay, I'm here, I guess. And I feel like they dialed in the right way to use her as an actress.
I will say, though, the fascinating part was Awkwafina, the actress you were expecting to be pulling those jokes.
Yes.
Sir Ben Kingsley, not so much the one that you were expecting to be pulling.
Right, 100%.
Right.
100%.
You know, and props, all the props in the world go to that dude, because if you would have told me that Sir Ben Kingsley was going to be the comedic relief in a Marvel Comics film, I would have been like, you're nuts.
Yeah.
But he did it beautifully.
He did an awesome job.
And I'm playing dead.
Perfect. Great part.
That whole thing,
stupid bits, but it worked.
That whole thing about like how they trained the monkeys to ride horses, I legitimately had a moment. I was like, wait, what? Like, no, there's no way. Like, what is going on here? I thought that, but again, Dave, that's a great point. Like, he absolutely was like, oh, I'm just supposed to be the kind of like the dumb acting guy. Yeah, I can do that. Like that's fine. So
I have to be Ringo, but completely out of my gourd. All right, let's do it.
That's fine. I can handle that.
But it seems like he was a good sport also about, hey, like this movie, the previous movie Iron Man 3, obviously that wasn't done right. To whatever extent, although he just signed up for a role, right? But still partially responsible.
That's what drew him to the role originally. Was it was the swerve. And
right,
so like I appreciate that he just kind of went, no man, I'm here for the ride. Like I'll ride this thing till it, dies. And the cool thing is he didn't.
Yeah.
Trevor got a happy ending.
Yeah. And Trevor's gonna be okay.
Yeah. I was really hoping for a Trevor will return, but
oh my gosh,
that would have been great.
I have questions about something related to that towards the end of this.
Brian, I also have the same questions. Okay, so I felt like we should just like get into it right now.
Well, let me just ask something very, very quickly.
Okay.
Or say that the Ben Kingsley thing now, like Marvel's kind of sneaky, but they're not. Like they are like Disney's like, what we should do? Like, I don't know, like last week. Let's put that short film about Ben Kingsley's Mandarin. Let's dump that on Disney Plus and see if these ding dongs are paying attention to what's actually going on.
And it exploded.
And exactly. And then it exploded. And I'm sitting here after I saw the movie yesterday. I was like, oh, that's why they put it on there. Like in this moment in the theater, I was like, that's why they dumped that up there.
Do they have the other shorts on there? Do we know?
They've been loading them on.
Okay.
Although they've been also taking stuff off. So I'm guessing they're for the same purpose.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, here you go. No, sorry, it had to go away. We're remastering it or so. Hey, but it happens to have to do.
You remember the vault? Like they kept telling us, like Bambi's going back in the vault. Oh
my god,
like,
stupid mouse!
People would lose their minds going to Target to like get the Little Mermaid platinum vault.
Meanwhile, you
go to Blockbuster a month later and buy a new copy.
Yes,
right, yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh,
you'll never see it again. It's going right in the vault. Lion King 1.5.
I mean, really
remastered classic.
1.5. You monster, Marcus.
Yeah, look, that was my 1.5 was my go-to.
Lion King 1.5 is good.
I like
that. Marcus, go ahead. You want to talk about some of these end credit sequences?
Yes.
Take it away, sir.
Implications for the universe.
That's
type
true.
umbrella situation.
We should get into it.
So before the movie came on, we knew that there were 2 end credit scenes that was going around. That was like, it wasn't really a rumor. It was confirmed that there were 2 end credit scenes.
Yeah, our theater made it clear when we walked in. They're like, "There's 2 of these. Don't leave."
Did they really?
They had a sign.
Vermilion Theater does it every time that there's a Marvel movie or any movie, really. They will write on the whiteboard, there are this many scenes. Don't leave the movie yet.
Yep, don't leave.
That's why you got to love your local theater.
That's absolutely right.
So they have these 2 end credit scenes, and one is a mid credit scene, and they're like back at the dinner with their friends who were talking trash about them, and she was like, "Oh, you're trying to make a joke on me." So they're re-explaining the whole story of everything they went through. Nobody believes them.
Wong
is his name. Wong, thank you. Wong makes the big circle thing on your left, circle magical thing. Walks in the restaurant and is like, "Hey, I need y'all two to come with me."
Portal, okay.
Just casual as hell. I would have dined and dashed right through that portal. But anyway, so he makes the portal ring, and he says, "I need y'all two to come with me." The first end credit scene is them talking about the 10 rings and what they look like. Now, I do want to make note: the 10 rings switch from blue to orange, right? So, or a light, which means blue was signifying death when it was on his father, and then orange is signifying light and how you can make it whatever you more of a positive thing, right? So they walk through, they're talking about these rings, and nobody knows where they came from. They're going through all the artifacts, and Wong is like, no, we don't know what this thing is, where it came from, but welcome to the party, basically. And in the scene, you have Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, and then you have Hulk, but he's Mark. I was about to say he's Mark. He is, but he's Bruce Banner, but he's Bruce Banner with a sling on, so they're letting you know, hey, he kept his arm, and his arm
is still there.
So his arm is still there. So
and he's also not the Hulk.
And he's not the Hulk. And he looks old too. So like, there's this whole moment where
for like the last 3 movies, dude.
He did, yeah. He does. Yeah. He's still hanging in there though. Like he was young in Thor Ragnarok, where they put the suit jacket and the t-shirt on him.
Pretty.
Yeah,
they made him real pretty in that movie.
Well, when you look who you're acting next to, look who the lead in that movie is. You got to be dressed up.
Yeah, you got to be airbrushed. Yeah.
He's also 53, so he's just
an old looking
man. He's like hanging in.
He's
older.
We'll see how long he can hang on the Hulk.
Mark Ruffalo, we'd love to have you on the show.
We would love to have you go from Green Hulk to Gray Hulk for real. So like there's this moment where they're just like, well, y'all are basically a part of the team now. I'm paraphrasing, but they're like, you're part of the team. We don't know where this
more so from. You're stuck.
Yes, because he says, welcome to the circus. He said, welcome to the circus, and he walks away. So then that was a really good ending scene, and then they ended with going to karaoke with Wong and all this fun stuff. The second ending scene is his sister taking down the decorations from the wall and at the back at the compound that their father used to own for the 10 Rings. And he's the guy from Creed. This is what I know him from. The guy from Creed 2 walks in, and he says, Razorfist.
You were talking about the band for a second, and I was like, what?
Oh, yes.
Stap is not in this.
Yes. We're going to listen to Human Clay here on the live stream. We're going to get an audio CD download for y'all.
And
so so basically they go through this whole moment where the sister is taking the throne. She's taking the throne and she's looking at everybody and she's like, we're going to get down to business. She's got graffiti on the wall. She's got a inclusive training room. Where it's
It looks like a very inclusive criminal empire. Yeah.
Very inclusive criminal empire.
Being wrong never felt and looked so right.
Equal opportunity murderers.
Yeah,
that's right.
So equal opportunity murderers, yes. And so that was basically how the scene ends, and then it ends with a big zoom out, and then the 10 Rings will return. I was disappointed that they put that one second. I said,
although cool thing about that though, if you look at the flag, so the 10 Rings flag, when it showed up in Iron Man, the start of the MCU, it had scimitars in the middle.
Okay.
It had cross scimitars, and then all of the original script and whatnot was a different script. It was actually a different font. Now, when it showed up in here, it had the hook swords. That they used.
That's
and
cool.
Whatnot. And at the very end, it's really hard to see, but it looks like it still has the hook swords in the middle. Because that's what the female assassins are training with at the very end.
Yeah.
It's the hooked blades. So it's kind of cool because it's like, oh hey, just kidding, that was the fake one. Here you go. Here's the real one, which is pretty neat. But but at the same time, some of the kind of goofy. There you go. So
there it is.
Sorry, Daggers. But and now you're considered a terrorist.
Yep.
But and then the cross hook swords at the end. But the other cool thing is them singing Hotel California.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Karaoke scene is carried over from the Art of Confusion.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's absolutely fire.
Character. So, which again, who knew that would be like the ultimate defense? Because
Hotel California.
To be honest, if I were on the end of that, I would be confused. I'd be like, why is this happening?
Well, did you also see in the original when they first got to the first fighting arena? There are Black Widows fighting in that arena. Yep. So there's a Black Widow fighter and there's a extremist fighter.
Yeah,
they're actually fighting each other.
I saw.
And
I didn't realize
the widow that's in there is actually from Black Widow. She was one of the rescued widows.
Ooh.
I know that because I watched the new Rockstar video.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a great tie. I mean, you see Abomination. Like we're skipping over a lot of stuff that's in this movie. You have an evolved Abomination who apparently knows Wong.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how that worked, but
it seems like a rigged fight. Did anyone else catch that?
I kind of felt that too.
He talks about pulling punches and whatnot on the way out.
Yeah.
But rumor has it that there's some sort of like contest of champions show in the works. So that could be the thing that the 10 Rings is kind of playing, because then you basically have a Street Fighter tournament / Mortal Kombat tournament that that they could be like, hey, Luke Cage. Hey, mediocre Iron Fist. Let's bring on the fight. Hey, I'm just throwing it out there. I loved all of the Defenders series And I watched Shang-Chi and being like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's how it felt.
Yeah.
That's definitely how it felt. That's what this could have been. God
Yeah.
damn it!
Seriously.
Yeah, they fucked that up.
I
big time.
honestly, that would make it's so.
Season 2 was great though. I'm just
Oh my
putting that out there.
gosh! I mean, it's so dumb. It would make sense for
Yeah.
a contest of champions thing and it would also be super easy to produce too. Now that I'm thinking about it, of like, hey, all these like B tier folks, we're just gonna do a fighting show. So have you seen Street Fighter? So it's like that, but just Marvel.
Just through.
Yep.
And yeah, and then you just fight someone and you're done. People would sign on to that and get paid easily. I can absolutely
That
see
seems
that.
dangerous though, because here's my thing is maybe the downside to this is it seems like Marvel is trying to do everything in one fatal swoop. Like Secret War, there was a rumor that the Russo brothers were coming back for Secret Wars,
Secret Invasion.
I mean, yeah, Secret Invasion.
Which is the implementation of the Skrull Empire.
Yes,
which also was the rumor of like, hey, this is how we could recast a lot of people because nope, sorry, Skrulls.
That was a Skrull. Just kidding. It's like Skrulls.
Chris Evans was a beautiful Skrull, damn it.
It really was
just a gorgeous Skrull.
But like it's one of those things where there was a lot of that stuff going around. I agree. They're trying to cast such a broad net. But the cool thing is it's fucking working.
Yes.
Oh, it is.
But because they have the different outlets, like What If? What If is legit near and dear to my heart. What If is the only, it's not the only now, but it was the first comic series that I ever completed a run of. I have every single issue of What If.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Because it's such a cool concept.
Yes.
It's like, hey, do you want to tell a cool story about this character? Yes, I do. But do you want to tell it without the continuity that's going to F up like 5 parts of your story?
Right.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Then they got to.
Yeah.
Spider-Man dies a lot in those books, by the way.
Yeah. That Doctor Strange one got me right here. Like I was like, damn you.
I enjoyed that.
No, you're gonna die again.
Yep.
Yes. No,
I mean, I just love that Marvel's just willing to start taking these risks, and I promise I'll relate this back to Shang-Chi, but like I really do enjoy that they're starting to take risks after 10 years of bangers. Like I feel like I feel like they should have done it earlier, but I feel like the audience is ready to handle some of these more complicated ideas, and I feel like they feel that way with like Loki, and then you have What If, where like, hey, Doctor Strange wants to save the love of his life, but then he accidentally has reality collapse on him. The end. See you next week. Like, I love that. I've never felt that way watching a Marvel product and being like, I feel hopeless and it's awful. And like, I enjoy it to a certain extent of like, that is the logical conclusion. And I believe it.
Doesn't have to be a happy ending.
Right.
That's
like
cool
I
thing.
enjoyed it on that level, which I know sounds really twisted, but like that was partially enjoyable to me.
If that's twisted, that's just my brand of twisted, Brian. I'm absolutely here for that.
Pain and suffering.
Right. So my question for all of you, though, and to get back to the first.
Yes, you're right. This was way better than Black Widow.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
He turned to me and said it 6 times in the theater. The first 15 minutes, he goes, oh shit! I wonder this better be better than Black Widow. And I was like, well, we'll see. And I was like, well, we'll see. Like,
if you
by the
I had
end,
to draw portraits, so I needed reference.
Yeah,
I like
by
it.
the end of it, like that, those credits rolled. First thing he said, that was way better than Black Widow.
I said this exactly. I said Brian's gonna be pissed because I'm definitely saying this was better than Black Widow.
I'm not upset. Like I feel like I'll connect my thought here. I like that Marvel's taking more risks because this movie is technically an origin movie, right? But like it didn't feel like it to me.
No.
And you feel free to all voice how you feel about it. But to me, it just kind of felt like, look, here's this guy Shang-Chi. He's got some stuff going on. He's gonna go fist fight his way to the mythical realm to figure this out. And I was like, yeah, let's go. Like, sure, let's go.
In defense of Black Widow. Black Widow suffered from the same thing that the first season of Iron Fist did.
Sure.
It was the last puzzle piece to fit in, so it had all this connective tissue around it where it had to fit perfectly into that.
It did.
There was a lot of shit that they had to go, well, we can't do that because that'll affect this. Well, we can't do that because that'll affect this. Whereas Shang-Chi, they're like, you want to see a dragon fight Cthulhu? And it was just like,
that's 100% it. Yes.
That's like, absolutely it.
That was the cool part about it, though.
Yeah,
like, it was refreshing to hit a new character
Yes.
And be able to go, yeah,
Okay.
here,
for it.
Run with it.
Well,
that's a good point.
And I think you look at I think a comparison that I kept making was Captain Marvel, and I enjoyed the Captain Marvel film and I enjoy the comic book character, but the Captain Marvel film was like, we're going to tell an origin story, but it's going to be backwards, but it's still all the same trappings and tropes of an origin story.
Blockbuster.
And which is fine, and I enjoy it for what it is. But Shang-Chi almost was like, okay, so the first third of those things you did, that's gone. That's all gone, and we're just gonna go to the fist fights. I think they get to the bus scene in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it didn't take long at all.
Right away.
Well, and I feel like they did what like the Spidey crew has done too with like Spider-Man Homecoming, where they're like, hey, guess what? Uncle Ben is dead. We don't have to recap that.
Yes, thank
you.
Guess
what? Shang-Chi, he's the master of kung fu. Don't tell anyone. And ass kicking.
Exactly.
And it was cool. Like, they didn't have to explain it, because if you're going into these movies, I think this is what Marvel's done a very good job of. Because you go into these movies and you're not going, well, I wonder what this is going to be. You go into these movies going, all right. Let's fucking go.
It's gonna get weird.
Let's get weird with it.
But that's the fun part about it.
Yes,
for sure.
That is the fun part.
So if I can get back to that first end credit sequence just very quickly, and my question to all of you all, and maybe this goes to Dave first with his comic book knowledge encyclopedia. What does this tie into? Or what does this potentially lead to? I had my bet after I had my detective moment in there because we got a trailer for Eternals like right before this movie came up. But I'm just kind of curious, maybe from all y'all, put your speculation hats on a little bit and speculate where this might be going.
I mean, there's a lot building up to Multiverse of Madness right now, with everything going. When he was looking at the interior of the rings and it had all the different layers, it very much mimics what you see in the No Way Home trailer
for sure.
Of Doctor Strange casting that spell. All of the magic, if you notice, all of the magic from Strange, all the magic from Shang-Chi, all the magic from Wanda, all the magic from, you can kind of go back and you can see it's always the layers, but it's when they go that all of a sudden stuff goes awry. So I think it's a lot of build up to that. I think this was the stepping stone to. And here's the weird thing though: is originally Eternals was supposed to come out before Shang-Chi. If I remember correctly.
I like it.
It was
indeed. What are we going to see in Eternals that would establish something more in Shang-Chi?
Sure, that's a great question.
Just because that's a big honking step. Going, oh yeah, by the way, these are basically the demigods that have been guiding civilization since you know, the dawn of time, but no big deal.
So, that's a good way to put it.
But it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But I think right now, Multiverse of Madness between Loki and What If and now Far From Home and of course Shang-Chi, I think there's a lot building up Wong as such an important supportive.
That guy is everywhere.
He's been here. He's been here. He's been here. He's been here. He's been
here.
I think that's the. I don't want to say big payoff because obviously the big payoff is Shang-Chi's in the Marvel Universe. We now have another Avenger added to the team. But I think it's a lot of lead up to the Multiverse of Madness.
For sure. Awesome. That's really that is fantastic. Other thoughts or maybe different opinions?
I think one thing I just want to say is that I really enjoy that Carol Danvers is your friend who always texts you like, we should hang out. And you're like, yeah, we should hang out. And then you go to the party and you're like, Carol, it's so good to see you. And she's like, I'm so glad. I gotta go.
I feel attacked.
It's Atari.
Right? Like, it's your friend that always flakes. And there's something really endearing about how they visualize that in the universe.
She gets busy, Brian. Maybe she has other things that come up that she can't. She really wanted to deep down in here. She wanted to be like, hey, let's go grab coffee. And it's just, oh, shit. I got stuff that came up and I don't want to burden you with it, but I'm going to go deal with it. So this
wasn't a personal attack on you, Doug. If you feel you share a lot in common with Carol Danvers, that's fine.
He got a little defensive there.
I mean, just a tad, but it's fine. So Carol's your friend that flakes. I enjoyed seeing that dynamic of the Avengers and also just kind of the leadership of the Avengers right now. It kind of feels like it's Carol by Zoom, Bruce Banner's obvious. I would assume he's still Earthbound. And then Doctor Strange and Wong is kind of making up this triumvirate, which I think is an interesting kind of galactic watch of Avengers. Captain Falcon is what I'll say, is how I will designate him. Captain America isn't a part of that. We don't really know when this takes place, but I found that interesting. And we don't have like anyone with the Iron Man mantle. Spider-Man wasn't there. Maybe he wouldn't be anyway, but that seems like what the leadership is at the moment, is that it's Captain Marvel, Bruce Banner, maybe not Hulk, and Doctor Strange or Wong. And that's interesting to me as we go forward, because I feel like we have these two parallel threats going on. We have whatever's happening with Valentina's Avengers, in which Abomination could be a part of, maybe not. And then we have Jonathan Majors / the Conqueror, however we're going to phrase that. It seems to be the other meta threat. So I don't know. And then Eternals hopefully has some answers with the rings, but I don't know. It's a lot right now. It's a lot to put together.
And in the comics realm of things, the kind of secret Avengers that are being formed out of the kind of it seems like they're going down the route of the Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts. But it's going to be kind of a weird bastardization of that, just because of the way the MCU works, which is actually pretty cool. But rumor has it that the kind of next gen of Avengers, they're going to be playing off of the old story Infinity Watch. So
okay,
if you play into the Secret Wars, Secret Invasion angle of kind of more of the cosmic side of things, that kind of fits the bill. I also, Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner is that lovely, like pessimistic, but like glass half full kind of guy, though, where he's just like, "Hey man, welcome aboard. You're gonna die." I kind of dig that though. Like,
I agree.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I guess I don't know where this movie takes us. We know that he's an Avenger. We know that he's going to be a part of that story that's going to be told. How it connects back, like does his 10 rings connect? We know. I don't think any of the Eternals are going to become Avengers. I just don't see that happening. I don't that's either. A story that just sets up everybody else's story or sets things in motion, like the bigger picture. But I can't see any of them becoming an Avenger.
I think they're the gateway to mutants. To be quite honest,
because I feel like you're right, Dave, because they spend a lot of time with his laser blast with his eyes. Like they spend so much time on that, and I'm like, that has to be some sort of like nod to Cyclops in the future.
And it's funny because MCU already has Inhumans, which when Inhumans came out, that show came out and bombed so terribly. In the comics, they went, "Hey, guess what? All mutants, they're actually Inhumans. Hey guys, here's a TV show. Never mind, just kidding. The Inhumans, they don't exist."
Yeah, right.
Like, what? Like, you gave us a show. Like,
we put it on the IMAX screen.
Like, just sweep it under the rug.
It's like we watched that whole thing happen. Yeah, but, I mean, I don't know. I guess I feel like I don't know where this story sets up. I am glad that we get some form. I'm just happy for new stories. Like we know that Riri Hart is gonna be introduced in Black Panther. We know Black Panther is coming. There's so many more movies. Look, he got everything.
Yeah,
there's so many more movies to go, and it feels like there's a whole lot more story to tell before we even get to the next big Avengers movie or whatever it is. But like, as much as I thought it was a cosmic thing, I'm definitely feeling like it's something else. I don't know what it is. Like I thought it was Galactus, and now all of a sudden I'm feeling like maybe King the Conqueror is not the big bad for this thing. Like maybe it's just Thanos's reputation is the big bad. Like everybody just suffering through this shit.
That's the beautiful thing about the MCU though, is we're 12, 13 years?
Into 13-ish, yeah.
And you just said it. It's the start of something new.
Yeah.
And that's really impressive,
right?
Because like, you think about stuff that's run that long. I'm sorry, MASH couldn't have gone on for another 10 years.
Oh my gosh,
like Hawkeye Pierce can only be an alcoholic surgeon for so many decades. But
friends with tiring after season 8.
Yeah, but
that shit should have been off after 2.
Damn. But you know what I mean, though, is that it's been going so long, and the fact that anybody can say, "Hey, this is exciting. There's something new happening, and I'm curious to see what happens. Also, not knowing what's going to happen.
For sure.
You have the Celestials, you have the Skrulls, you have all, you know, the multiverse of madness. You have all this stuff you can play into, and that's kind of the cool thing with, you know, Marvel having over 80 years, you know, of stories to tell. You have a lot of interesting, you have a lot of terrible stuff you could go into too, but you have a lot of very interesting things that you can go into.
And I think it's really cool, Dave, that you bring that up, because I think that's the other thing that's worth noting and worth reminding our listeners about and some of our viewers about, is that you are able to do most movie studios struggle with prequels and sequels. Like, they have a huge hit, then they try to put that into a package and they try to say, let's roll this out again. And what Marvel has been able to accomplish over, like you said, 12, 13 years, is they've been able to say, hey, you liked this, you might also like this. They've become the Netflix and Spotify of movies, to use what we understand is they've come up with a little bit of an algorithm of, we were able to figure this out and you might like it, where it's still a sequel, like technically, but it's also an original story. So that way you don't tire of the original material. And now that they're starting over, that's such a cool point for it to be at.
It's another chapter.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all.
We are getting, unfortunately, to the end of our time with Mr. Wheeler. So any final thoughts or question for Dave as we kind of close things out?
I just had 2 comments about this movie. So I enjoyed the story overall. We didn't get a ton into it, but I also feel like the story is also pretty self-explanatory. Like, I don't feel like we needed to, there wasn't a really big, and this is not a bad thing, but the movie was very much like, yeah, you are a product of your family before you, and you need to make some choices. And you're just like, okay, all right, I'm gonna go ride a dragon now.
This movie cut you deep a couple times. They had a couple lines in there that was like, well, god damn.
When he says that to him, when his dad says that thing about his mom dying, I was like, oh my god, like that's the worst thing ever.
Well, yes, it is. But the other thing I wanted to say is that I did not know this, but when I was researching for the pod tonight, so the sister, who Ling, Shang-Chi's sister, I was like, who is this actress? I've never heard of her before. The reason you've never heard of her before is this is her first movie ever.
Sorry, what?
Quite literally, her IMDb credits, she has 4 things, and the first one is guest about Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. Like, literally, this is the only movie she's ever done, and this is her first movie. So shout out to her, Menger Zhang. If I'm saying it wrong, please correct me. But shout out to her, because I thought she did an incredible job, just base level. But the fact that this was your first movie and it was a Marvel movie, like,
yeah, no kidding.
I mean, absolutely incredible. Like, I don't know anybody that could just walk on set and be like, all right, let's do this. Let's go.
Although that way. What's crazy to think about is how many unknowns have been brought into the MCU, like Chris, even Chris Hemsworth, and Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah,
people were like, "Ha, who the hell are those guys? This is gonna suck." Oh my god, they're going.
This is great. Yeah. Dave, my final question before you leave us is, if we enjoyed Shang-Chi, which we did, what would maybe be a different comic book character to dive into? Like, if we enjoyed Shang-Chi, where would we maybe want to turn our attentions next?
Iron Fist, actually. Going into, like, specifically the Ed Brubaker run of Iron Fist.
Oh, yeah.
A really damn good run of books that actually dives into some of the connective tissues to Talo and stuff, and you kind of get a little bit more of that flavor, I guess.
Sure.
I hate to say it, but like, you go back and read the OG run of Shang-Chi, there's some cool stuff because they made him look like Bruce Lee, and it's a really fun martial arts comic. And then there are a lot of chunks of it where you go, oh shit. Because there's a lot of that stuff that's not on the Marvel Unlimited app, because there's some very culturally insensitive stuff in there.
Oh, okay.
But the Ed Brubaker run on Iron Fist is really good. Another run of Secret Avengers was a really good one post Civil War. Just a really fun team that actually kind of dives into, again, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, very fun buddy cop vibe there. but at the same time, you dive into characters like Echo and the entrance of the Ronin character, which we learned a little bit about in Endgame. Completely different take, but definitely check those out. But don't be afraid to check out other other avenues too. There's more than the Marvel universe out there.
Sure.
And I highly recommend just look around at your local bookstores and comic book stores, and you'll find some cool stuff out there.
Absolutely. Well,
Dave, who wins between Shang-Chi and Iron Fist?
Shang-Chi.
He didn't even hesitate.
I love Iron Fist. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, I think Shang-Chi would take him in a hand-to-hand fight.
Look at that.
Because Iron Fist could cheat with Iron Fist.
Yep.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Dave, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being here. If you like his stuff, look up MindWave Comics on I think you're on your Facebook page.
Yep. Or just check out davewonder.com. That has links to everything MindWave Comics, my Twitch, YouTube channels. I'm actually about to go live on the Fwoosh Twitch channel for Monday Fwoosh Live. So check that out too.
All right.
Cool. Thanks for joining us, Dave. Have a great rest of your evening.
Great chatting with you.
Catch you guys later.
All right. Talk to you, everybody. Yep. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, gentlemen, that was Shang-Chi.
Oh, shoot. I had one more thing I wanted to say about Shang-Chi. Sorry. One more thing. I am so sorry, but I promise I think this will entertain you all. So also when Katie, Aquafina's character is like training to use a bow and arrow, how jealous do you think Hawkeye is that like Katie got to have the penultimate moment of like, I got one arrow and one bow to take down the Soul Eater, and she hits it, and he's probably sitting there like, really? Pissed. Like, I am at home right now. With
you could have called me.
Like, I am ready to go. Like, he never had a moment like that in like any of the movies. Then here comes Katie. Like, what? Like, it's hard. Like, let's do this.
We've been doing this forever. Like,
right. I really enjoyed that. Because I'm not a big Hawkeye fan, but I wanted to say that in this space because I knew you all would appreciate that.
That's hilarious that you're not a big Hawkeye fan.
That's hilarious. Gentlemen, we have one final segment for us to get into. And I want to make sure that we take the time, because what Brian does not know, and what Brian maybe is not aware of, maybe he listened to last week's episode, maybe he didn't.
Maybe
Brian's in second place.
Oh,
for the first time this year.
Oh my gosh.
Brian Roush is in second place.
How dare you?
For a friendly game that we like to call Catch That Quotable.
Goodness.
And
gracious.
And friendly may have to be removed from the title here, because it's starting to get some stank on it. So Marcus, you are our champion, so you are in charge of what happens next. So please, sir, you have the floor.
What should a gracious king do?
Wow,
Jesus!
I feel like T'Challa sitting on the throne. No, I'll have Doug Wagner go first.
Oh, okay. Well, we gotta just give me one moment. I have my quote, but I want to make sure that I bring it up. Just one moment, everybody. What did you all think as we are sitting here? What did you all think of Dave coming on the show? It was great to have him.
No, Dave was amazing.
Yeah, Dave was fantastic. To give that a ton of context, I did not realize that the characters were released when Marvel originally had access to them. I knew that 70s Marvel is not pretty. Is the best way to say that. They had some very offensive things. I did not realize there was literally a villain named that. I'll just leave that there. So I learned a lot.
For sure. All right, gentlemen, I am ready with my quote whenever you are. So my quote is, "Dreams die hard and you hold them in your hands long after they've turned to dust."
Jesus Christ.
Dreams die hard and you hold them in your hands long after they've turned to dust.
It's clearly somebody who's not too optimistic about life.
Nope.
Somebody who's angry about life. Could be a father talking to their son. Could be somebody who's going to learn their lesson later on down the road.
It's true.
What's the hint?
The hint is Dragon.
I have no clue.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I am absolutely up a creek right now. Dragon is the hint.
Dragon.
The creature, right?
Yes, the creature.
Not dragon, like dragon somebody.
Not like dragon ass, like
I'm,
dragon.
Look,
the beast
I'm trying to get all the blood out of
wings.
this stone. All right, I'm just trying to make sure.
I would either think,
because I like to watch you two fight, I will give you a second hint, which is 1996.
I'm a buzz in.
Okay.
Rain of Fire.
This is not Rain of Fire.
Oh, God.
Brian.
Turned to dust in my hands.
Just like the quote.
I don't know. I'm just gonna say Rush Hour.
No, this is Dragon. It's Heart.
This is Dragonheart, Brian.
Gosh,
you don't get it. That's your guess. But this is a movie where a young boy gets a heart transplant from a dragon, and the dragon is played by Sean Connery.
This is a good movie.
This movie stars Dennis Quaid, Sean Connery, Pete Postlethwaite, David Thewlis, and Jason Isaacs. It has fucking everybody in it.
It's such a good movie.
Could remake that movie today. It'd be expensive.
It absolutely would. Literally, the story is a king's son is dying. So they bring the king into, like, the king brings his son in, gives him a piece of the dragon's heart. And you know how dragons work. So now they're soul bound for life. Because
as you do.
It's a fucking dragons. Well, then this kid turns into a king who's a fucking asshole. So they're like, well, we can't kill him because he has an army. Let's hunt and kill the dragon. Then they find the dragon and they like the dragon, and it's a whole sad story.
It is.
In that episode of Rick and Morty?
Basically.
It will be.
Basically,
sounds pretty close.
I mean, they've got like 6 seasons to fill. It probably will.
It absolutely is. It's the Slut Dragons episode.
It's that's the one. That's the one that they have a soul bond with the dragons.
It's four.
Because all the dragons are having an orgy.
I don't remember that episode.
Pop up that HBO Max app.
It goes 0 to 100 very quickly.
I guess.
Absolutely.
Brian Roush.
Hello.
All right, Brian, kick us off.
Look, I'm ready to tie it up again.
Okay,
all right.
Ready to tie it up again. Okay,
I'm ready to tie it up again. Tie it up, tie down. All right. The quote is, "The making of a great compilation tape, like breaking up, is hard to do and takes ages longer than it might seem. You gotta kick it off with a killer to grab attention." I'm gonna say it one more time for y'all at home.
I think I know this, Brian.
The making of a great compilation tape, like breaking up, is hard to do and takes ages longer than it might seem. You got to kick it off with a killer to grab some attention.
Yeah, I think I know this, Brian.
Okay.
Go ahead, guess, because I don't know.
But I want to hear the hint first.
What's the hint?
The hint. I didn't think of my hint. Let's see here. What is my hint? My hint is going to be Jack Black.
Is this High Fidelity?
It is.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
High Fidelity.
Quick.
That's a good movie. That's a really good movie.
Really good movie.
I almost was cocky enough to buzz in as you were reading the quote, but I decided not to. John Cusack, Jack Black. Yep. He owns a record store, and the whole thing is he breaks the fourth wall and talks to people about making various tapes. And then as he's making this breakup tape, he goes through all his previous girlfriends. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a great movie.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, that was quick. Great job.
All right.
Back in that
got a
fucking
point.
room.
Here we go.
All right. Marcus is
sorry,
reading.
hold on.
No, you're fine.
Just got to bring up the phone.
We've got to make sure it works. Marcus is reading his quote.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, all right, here we are.
Okay. Ow. That's it. I want you to stay the fuck away from me. I thought we're nothing. I love you. You love me. You're sick.
Oh,
Once
man.
Again. That's it. I want you to stay the fuck away from me. I thought we're nothing. I love you and you love me. You're sick.
Oh, I have something down. I have something down here. That's
where are you pointing?
Just in this general area.
Brian,
like,
is that your just entire upper body?
Yeah, just from my diaphragm up. I'm getting.
Is that a CrossFit thing?
No, it's just a feeling you get when you think you might know the quote.
Okay, that is not how I feel. It's a fire in the soul.
That's why you're down 1 point, Brian.
wow, because it's not the upper body, huh? All right, I'll start taking notes, macho man.
Damn.
Like I said, maybe this friendly game,
thing is gone.
Maybe the friendly thing needs to be gone. All right, what's the hint, Brian?
Yeah, jailbait.
What?
I'm sorry. What?
Jailbait.
Jailbait. Oh. Marcus, is this super bad?
It is not.
Okay, damn.
Is this Project X?
It is not. This movie is The Crush with Alicia Silverstone. And it came out in 1993, where she is 14, hitting on a grown ass man.
Oh my god!
He in the end of the movie, he punches her like a rag doll. She flies across the damn egg.
Yeah,
you gotta watch it on.
I remember the preview for this.
Yeah, that movie was great. I think that was Alicia Silverstone's like premiere thing. I think like that was what she got big off of, and it was like going back and looking at that movie, I was like, man, this is a weird movie.
There are some movies that are just totally fine, and I'm not saying that like women can't take punches. That's not the tone I'm taking here. It's just insane to me that things like The Wicker Man and this movie just
socked her right in the face,
sock people
and
right
she
in the face.
flew. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
But yeah, like, I feel The Wicker Man was the 90s, wasn't it? Or was that early 2000s?
That was early 2000s.
All right, then this analysis out the window. I don't know. Something was going on in the 90s and early 2000s. It was weird. It was a weird time, I feel like. You just punch people in the face for no reason.
Very much so. Gentlemen, that is basically the end of our show. And it's been a great little run, and I'm glad we were able to do it. Another thanks to Dave Wheeler for coming on.
That was fantastic.
Gentlemen, what do you all have to plug this week?
I can start us off.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So thelovenerds.com, as always, my wife Maggie runs that shop. She also has her Shopify shop on there. So if you are making shirts, if you are needing designs or anything in between, go check it out. A bunch of arts and crafts that you can make on your own, thelovenerds.com. Also, the Nerf Hyper Tourney is ending this week, and we are still counting votes. So if you have TikTok, or even if you don't, go make an account and go vote for Team Krissa. That is the team I am on for the Nerf Hyper Tourney. You can even get there by going to my TikTok account at Rogue Roush. So you can go check that out. Please go vote for us in the Nerf Hyper Tourney. It'd be much appreciated. And that is all I have to promote.
Brian, I am so curious. I want to hear like more about this experience once this is all done.
Sure.
About how you got selected for this, how they sent you shit. Like, I would love to do like a deep dive.
Yeah, was it like an army draft?
Right.
Look,
like just
I don't know. That part I don't know. All I know is that I just got a message from the Nerf TikTok account, and it was like, hey, send me your email. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. I think I know what this is about. And then they sent me like all the legal documents that I had to sign and stuff like that. But that was honestly how it all came about. I don't know how they selected teams or anything like that. But yeah, and then they just sent me a giant box of Nerf blasters. So it was pretty great.
I think it's so funny. It's like, hey, send me your email. Like every single IT department is being like, no,
that's a
don't
phishing
send
account.
me your email. That's how you get trapped. Like ignore everything you know about cybersecurity. And
it's got the blue check mark. I mean, how bad can it be?
You gotta be a pretty official over here.
Yeah,
right?
It looks pretty official to me.
It's a pretty big deal. All right, Marcus, what do you have to plug this week?
Y'all know what it is. Follow the mantra _ the mantra on Instagram. We are doing a love fest over there on the mantra Instagram, where we are just showing love to all of our family members, our mantra mafia. Those are the people who support us, because we don't do customers over here. We don't do fans and shit like that. So we are doing shout outs over there all month. Every Wednesday and every Friday, we will be shouting out a different person who has supported us, just showing them love on the page. So follow that, but follow the mantra in real life. Never offended. always humble. That is the mantra. Stick to it. I promise it'll do some magical things for you. And we got a lot of stuff on the way. New store opening soon.
Fantastic. I'm proud to be a part of that. That Mantra Mafia.
Mantra Mafia.
And especially now that I know the name.
Yeah. just made it up last week. So
you know what?
I love it.
I am here for it.
But I love it.
Here's what I had to plug. This podcast, gentlemen, ladies, anyone listening. This is a great space. We love being an independent podcast. We love turning this quality shit out for you every single week. We love doing it. And we know you enjoy it too. So why not show us the love and join our Patty family? Patreon.com/films in black and white. That's how you can sign up. All of our tiers have some pretty great benefits in there. And so we hope that you will consider joining that. So we would sincerely appreciate it. You can also follow us now on TikTok at Films in Black and White on TikTok. And I hope you enjoy those because that is the depraved mind of one Doug Wagner that comes up with this shit.
I cannot underscore enough that the TikTok account is just Doug. It is Doug coming up with ideas and executing them on his own, and they're funny as hell.
Yeah, that Candyman one took me out.
That work from home life is treating me good. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Look, you gotta find something you enjoy, and it's making silly videos. I get it. I totally get it.
100% what I'm doing. Gentlemen, we have a 3-step process to success. Sure Brian, will you kick us off with that first step?
I would love to. I was so bummed I wasn't here last week to do this. So, step 1, read a book. I know life might be busy. It might feel like the world's on fire. It might feel like you won't be able to get your favorite thing at the store pretty soon with all these supply shortages coming in and coming out. But you know what's eternal is a book and knowledge. So, go read a book. It will entertain you. Once you have it, it will take you on an adventure, an experience, if you will, inside your mind in which you can cast all the characters and set the lighting and understand the events the way that you want to. So read a book.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brian. That's absolutely right.
You should listen to that guy. He's in a Nerf tourney.
That's it. This guy? And this guy's Mr. 3000. Mr. 3000 reads goddamn.
Look, I got some good folks backing me up. I'm very happy. Yes, go ahead. Let's do step 2.
Marcus, will you give us our second step to success, please?
If you want to do all that cool kung fu shit that you've seen in Shang Chi, you got to drink some water. That's the bottom line. Listen, you can't just put on 10 rings and think you run shit. Like that guy got his ass kicked because he won't drink water. He just thought he was all powerful, live forever. Like the only reason you live forever is if you drink some water. Drink some purified water. Okay, sometimes you gotta treat yourself to the nice. Get some Voss, get yourself some Fiji, whatever it is.
Your weight in ounces in water.
Yeah,
LaCroix maybe.
When you're sweating, you are what you sweat. So if you eating nasty and you ain't drinking water, guess what that sweat gonna smell like? Not good.
Not water. Good. There you go. Awesome. Thank you, Marcus. Look, everybody, summer still has a death grip on our world. It is still possible to walk outside and be like, God damn, it's hot. And as a result, you really need to wash your ass and get up in it. It goes hand, cloth, soap, ass. Those are the steps. Just follow them. It's important you do it because look, we are gonna eventually, I imagine, hopefully not, but possibly go back into being inside. And that's not a chance to share yourself with your family. You're going to notice all that stuff. Just watch your ass. It's important that you do that. And everybody will thank you. Family, friends, and colleagues alike will thank you for washing your ass. So
I know I will.
Gentlemen, that is our 3-step process to success. We'll be back next week. We hope everybody will join us next week. This was our free live stream of the week, so be sure to sign up for that Patreon if you want to catch next week. Next week, I think we're watching The Wicker Man. Not gonna lie to y'all, I think we're watching The Wicker Man for next week.
Oh boy!
So tune in for that. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all, and we'll catch y'all next week.
Be easy.